Hey everybody, welcome to Action Alert. Now these videos that we're going to be doing for you under the Action Alert title are based on pure technicals on the charts, and I'm joined here by Max, my head crypto trader. Now he's going to go into a couple crypto charts, I'm going to take it over for a couple stock charts or commodity charts, and we're going to throw you guys right into some good alpha. Take it away, Max.
Hey everybody, let's get started and we'll dive right into it here on the Bitcoin USD chart on the daily time frame. So let's start by looking at this horizontal yellow line right here. And as you can see, that was previous resistance and then it broke out through it and since has come back down and retested. And the first couple times it tested this zone at about 25.2K, it bounced from it, but in its most recent test, it broke down and is now retesting that as resistance again. So where do I expect it to go if it fails this retest right now? So the first zone I'll be looking at is at approximately $24,000. And as you can see, that was a pivot high right here. And then again, rejection right here. So if it continues to fall upon testing this this breakdown of support as resistance, then I'll expect it to fall here. If it can't hold 24,000, there's a lot of thin air. I guess the first spot that I'd be looking for it to find support would be right over here at about $21,400. All right, so that's what I have for Bitcoin. Let's check out the Ethereum chart. And as you can see on the Ethereum chart, it is trading in this rising wedge-like pattern. And what's cool about this is that its current resistance acted as previous support in the bull market, as you can see right here. Now, when looking at its support, you can see that extends all the way back to March of 2020 in the COVID crash. And what's even cooler about that is that there's confluence on the high that Ethereum made back in the 2017 bull market. So if ETH continues down in this zone, I'd expect it to find support at around $14,000.
$1,400, right?
$1,400, which was the previous bull market's high, or the 2017 bull market high, as well as right around this support line that I've outlined here on the chart. So that's what I'm looking at for ETH and Bitcoin. I'm going to pass it over to Gareth so he can get into some stocks.
Very nice. And yeah, that's a great level on Ethereum, you know, in terms of looking for where you could get a sustainable bounce. Now, again, whether or not it goes to new highs, who knows from that point. Again, I'm still in the bear camp. I think we're still in a bear market, but in the very least, does it offer an opportunity as a swing trade long? Very possibly. All right, so a couple things I want to show you here. If we go to the NASDAQ chart, the NASDAQ from the all-time highs back in 2021, we fell approximately 37%, right? So 37.5%. If we look at the bounce off of the lows, we have gone up right now about 36%. If you look at past big cycle highs, AKA the .com bubble, there's this kind of tendency for markets to collapse X amount and then bounce that same amount before rolling over back to the downside. So just to show you an example of this, if we go back to the .com level, right? Here's your .com high on the NASDAQ. It fell from the high of the .com pivot point for the first leg down. Remember, this is just the first leg down in the .com collapse, 40 to 41%. It bounced 40.25% approximately, right? So again, you can see almost identical bounces. So what that tells me, if we go back to the NASDAQ chart, it tells me that, you know, there might be 1.5% more higher on the NASDAQ, but we're kind of running into the end of the run according to past psychological kind of tendencies for investors to jump long. Now, if you look at the psychological nature of investors right now, extreme bullishness, the greed and fear index is in the major intense greed zone. So you're having this, which is what bigger bear markets do. They lure the bulls back in. And I would just be very, very cautious here, especially after the Federal Reserve came out and said, hey, listen, yeah, we're going to pause, but expect more rate hikes. Then you saw jobless claims today come in. Yeah, last week, 266, which was the highest jump, 266,000, highest jump since, you know, like 2 years ago. Or even more. And then this week, it confirmed with 262. So almost the same number again. And that tells me that a lot of people are starting to file for unemployment. Eventually, that's going to filter into the unemployment numbers at the end of the month, as well as the employment numbers starting to go negative. So my guess is this is all kind of, you look at the data and then you look at the charts and it's starting to kind of confirm here. The last thing I'll show you guys, Chart on natural gas, amazing short-term breakout above 250 on the natural gas chart. Resistance, again, is going to be upwards of around 280 and then $3.05. I'm continued to be a bull on natural gas here. And the last chart I want to show you is a classic double top on this chart of Microsoft. So Microsoft, again, if you're just a technician and you're just looking at pure double tops, take a look right here. We put a line right across and you're coming into a double top. Now, you might recognize this, and Max would know this, right? Yeah. Where else did we see this? Now, it did, in all fairness, Bitcoin had this almost identical pattern, right? Yeah. So here's your up move like Bitcoin. I mean, you could look at this chart and almost make it out to be a Bitcoin chart, where Bitcoin over here, it went a little bit higher, and then the collapse came in. So if we flip back to the Bitcoin chart that Max had up, and we go back to that high of 2021, right? So let's go all the way back here. You could see very, very clearly, all right, and it takes me just a second to go back. There we go, and we'll zoom out just a little bit. Here's that same run up, pull back. There's your double top pierce of the highs, and then we know what happened in this case with Bitcoin. So again, it's just interesting, and I think I love the aspect of how markets overall, they repeat. It doesn't matter the asset class. You could be looking at gold, silver, Bitcoin, or a stock. People are trading, right? It's all people doing it, and they tend to do the same things over and over again.
The psychology is the same, and I think it's really interesting. Even the consolidation after the first high that was put in on Bitcoin and Microsoft looks very similar on this chart. So I wonder if there'd be a little squeeze again that goes a little bit higher on Microsoft if it plays out similarly. But the one other thing that's very interesting to me, especially today, is that stocks are still going up, and Bitcoin is having a substantial fall today. So, as well as the rest of the crypto market, and there's two schools of thought here, and one has to do, of course, the SEC is attacking crypto, and that's pretty bearish, at least in the short term. But the other school of thought is that Bitcoin, I've seen a lot of the times in the bull market, is a leading indicator for the stock market. So I wonder if this move here is suggesting that stocks are almost done and that they will ultimately follow what Bitcoin's doing right now. It's just a little bit on a delay.
Yeah, those are two great points. And it is true that Bitcoin historically has led the stock market by 6 weeks to give or take a little bit there. And we're kind of right at that pivot point now. And then, like you said, it's war on crypto from the SEC. And that makes, I mean, heck, I think in terms of buying altcoins especially, it is so hard to buy altcoins right now. I mean, you're almost like cringing waiting for that next SEC news story to hit that they're doing some sort of attack.
Even Robinhood took off. That's right. Like Solana and ADA. So I don't really see it at least in the immediate short term, getting easier to buy altcoins. So I think it's going to take some clear regulation to come into the space before that can happen. So it's really interesting times right now, for sure.
All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, this is, as you can see, Action Alert. We will be bringing more of these to you probably a few times a week, so have a great one, and make sure to follow Max on Twitter. I'll post it up. When we post it up, it'll be on his and mine, and make sure to follow Verified Investing on YouTube. Take care.
See ya.